Hello Golden, today we are making palmnut soup, also known as Abenkwan in Ghana and Banga soup in Nigeria. First of all, I boil my palmnut, and this is how the palmnuts look like when they are boiled. Palm nuts are also used for making palm oil in Ghana. Palm oil is used for making so many dishes in some parts of Africa. So I pound my palm nuts. Pounding it is extremely easy. It isn't difficult, and also it is not time consuming if the palm nuts are thoroughly boiled. And for pounding our palm nuts, we use the mortar and the pestle, which is similar to the one we use for pounding fufu. So in this clip, my palm nuts are ready. As you can see, there is a difference between the earlier stage and this stage. This stage shows that we can proceed in extracting the juices out of our palm nut. So after pounding it well, I put water on fire because I cannot extract the juices from the palm nut without hot water. So we always have hot water beside. So in this pot is a mixture of hot water and warm water. I just added the palm fruit inside and then use my hand to mix it up. I do this continuously till the chaff of the palm fruit is very raw. Then I dry them in the sun. So after extracting all the food from the palm nut, this is the end product. So I will keep straining it till all the particles are removed from this particular. The particles came as a result of the chaff and the palm nut. So after a while, I finished working on my palm fruit and I put it on fire. The reason why I put it on fire first is because I have not worked on my proteins yet. So I just give it some time to boil whilst I am cleaning my protein and working on my other ingredients. So for my protein, I'm using cow skin and beef. And also I will use cow leg. For the cow leg, I have pre-boiled it because it is mostly hard. This is the fish I am using, a little bit of Agm3n, a little bit of Kobe, and my percase. Adding percase to palm soup just takes the soup to another level. It just calls everybody around and it just makes the whole environment very appetizing. Aside the environment, it also makes the soup very tasty. I'm also going to use 3 tomatoes, 1 onion, and a little bit of pepper. We don't use a lot of tomatoes when preparing Abenkwan. That's what I know. This is my crushed ginger, grinded onion, pepper, garlic, and spices. I'll be seasoning the protein with a little bit of dawa. Also, this is my tomato paste, salt for taste, and then the process begins. At first, I used this pot in boiling the cow leg, so that is why it looks used. So I put all my proteins inside and then season it. The reason why I'm doing it in that pot is the palm nut is already boiling, so all I do is just season the meat, make sure all the goodness has incorporated well in my meat, allow it to boil for some time, and when it is ready, I'll now transfer it into my palm soup. The other way of making my palm soup is preparing the protein first and now adding my strained palm nut to the protein and allow it to cook. But because I hadn't prepared it earlier, that is why I'm using this method. So my protein is ready. So I'm adding it to the soup, and as you can see clearly on the screen, the soup is partially cooked. All the oils have extracted and it's looking extremely appetizing. So I'm raising all the goodness into my soup and stir so that all the flavors from the meat can incorporate well. Before the soup boil, I roast my percase. Roasting the percase brings out the flavors so that when you put it in the soup, it gives it a different kind of aroma. So after roasting the prekese, I put it in the soup. I have already put my peppers and tomatoes and garden eggs in the soup. I'm going to grind the tomato and add it to the soup. For this scene, this is my fish. It is not a very strong fish for palmnut soup, so I'm going to crush it into a powder form with my earthenware and sprinkle it into the soup to intensify the flavor of the palm soup. Few minutes later, the tomato is ready and I am basically removing it out so that I can grind it and now add it to the soup. I have finished grinding my tomato and then I'm adding it to the soup. This soup is filled with richness. So I now mix all the goodness, mix the soup so that all the paste can incorporate well, and then I now add the harder part of the smoked fish. This one isn't very soft like the first one. So now the soup is almost ready. So I'm adding the Agm3n and the Kobe and allow it to boil on fire. At this point, we don't put it on a high heat. We just lower the heat and let it cook gradually so it reaches our consistency. After a long while, the soup is ready. It is late, it is like 6 p.m. so I brought my soup to the kitchen, so sorry for the bad lighting. And then I am serving myself. I'm serving myself with a little bit of fish, a little bit of kotoje, a little bit of cow skin, a little bit of garden egg, so that I can enjoy this wholesome soup. The fufu you are seeing on the screen is cassava flour fufu. Stay tuned for that particular video where I prepared cassava flour fufu. It is easy to make and it is not difficult. Remember not to depend on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord, for He's going to show you which path to take. I love you, and until next time, stay blessed.